I'm lucky enough to work with teachers every single day, and I get asked questions, and they ask for advice. That's always good and bad, because when you give the best advice, it's always the worst advice. So when I work with some teachers, the first thing they ask me is, what should I do as a new teacher? And the first thing I tell them is go watch a movie, and I ask them to go watch the movie The Help. And everybody's like, why would I watch the movie The Help as an educator? How does that make me a better learner? Well, if you don't want to watch the whole movie, there's one clip we need to watch. Every educator, every adult, every parent. So Abilene, that's played by Viola Davis, grabs her little child that she's working with, and she sits down, and she looks her in the eyes and says, repeat after me. You is smart, you is kind, you is important. Now, I know this had a little backlash in the media, but that message is deep. Because at that time, that little girl repeated that same statement. She said it back to an adult. You is smart, you is kind, you is important. And when I look at that, that's where educators should start. They should start building up the individuals they work across from, where every single day they tell them something about themselves to build them up, where their identity is, yes, I can do anything. And the language starts to shift to, I am. I am smart. I am kind. I am important. That's how students should feel every day they walk into a school setting. And when they go home, they should have that same feeling when they walk in the door at home. They see their parent, they see their brothers, they can say, I am. Now let me shift this movie for you a little bit, all right? I'm gonna direct the Help 2.0. And I'm gonna shift the language. We're gonna pick up that baby right now, and in that scene, Abilene's gonna say, you is dumb, you is not welcomed, you is bad. Saying that to a child would make you leave that audience, make you leave that theater, because you'd be upset that we told a child they couldn't be their best selves. They weren't good enough. Because when we do that to children, it builds their identity in a negative way. They start to say, I am bad. I am not welcomed. I am dumb. And people say, well, why would you put it that way? Because when I look at schools right now, that happens. I walk into schools where students hear this. I see adults look at human beings and tell them a different format of who they really are. And our students walk around with a false identity and this false agency of the person that they really are. They start to think differently. They start to act differently. They start to blame others because their agency doesn't tell them to build themselves up and to change the world. Their agency shifts to, I have to blame others because this is where I got. So where do I see this most? How does it affect my own personal life? Well, when I see this, I think of my grandma. I think of her in the backyard, hanging up our clothes and having deep conversations about life. And just talking to me and connecting with me and having that great moment of, I'm always going to remember you. When my son sees this, what does he see? What does he feel? He feels shame and he feels humiliation based on a clip. Why? Because he has been placed into a school system that to change behavior, we're going to follow a clip chart. So let me give you a little bit of example for my son's day. My son goes into school every single day, and when he walks in, he has to take his clip off his table and put it in the middle of this chart. Now, his teacher told me about this. She said, hey, we're going to have a system to help your child learn behavior. If your child has a good day, I want them to know they're having a good day. So if your son in my class has a really good day, he'll get to move his clip from the middle to now either a sunny day, or if he's having a really good day, he can go up to a rainbow day. But if your son has a poor day, he will have to grab his clip and move it to cloudy day or stormy day. So I had a wonderful conversation with my son. I said, hey, bud, expectations at home are, hey, let's live in stormy land. Every single day you go to school, I want you to do everything you can to make your teacher happy so you can move your clip from the middle to the stormy land. To the rainbow land. And what happens every single day when he comes in? He runs in excited. And he tells me, Dad, guess what? I had a rainbow day. And give him a high five. And he feels good. And I thought that was good. I thought that was a powerful move. But then I realized what else happens. After he tells me, Dad, guess what? I just had a rainbow day. He goes, guess what else happened today? He said, Jeff, Joe, and Brock had a stormy day. And he just labeled all the bad kids in his class. And those bad kids got to do what we call the walk of shame. They left their seat, wherever they sit in their classroom, walk up in front of all their friends and all their peers and say, "Let me tell you, I'm a bad kid," and clip down. That is the worst way to build anybody's identity up. If anybody was in this room right now and I gave you a clip and said, "Please come clip down," while I was having a talk, you'd be frustrated, you'd be humiliated, and you'd be embarrassed. Because that doesn't feel good. And if I did that day in and day out, all of a sudden that would change who you thought about yourself. And you would say, "I am bad. I am a stormy kid." And I start to see it, it starts to shift to I'm a red kid, or an out-of-school kid, or a call-parent home kid, or a detention or referral kid. And it shifts the identity of every individual. And if you think about this, we start to think of, we have 3 kids here, or 5 kids in this room. All of a sudden, we have a collective of a community of students that are saying, "I'm bad, I'm not welcome, and I'm dumb." Because some students have to clip down because they didn't get their answer right on their sheet. Or because they thought they were so right on the answer, they shot their hand up, or they just screamed out the answer in the middle of their classroom, and their teacher got frustrated. Their behavior made them clip down. And I see this, and I see these kids walking around not being able to say, "No, that isn't who I am. No, I'm someone different," because they're stuck being labeled an individual. So what do we have to do? Number one thing, if you have a clip chart, rip them down. Take them away. I like the structure, don't get me wrong. Kids need to understand when they're doing well, and kids need to understand when they're having a hard day. But talk to them. Go and tell them face to face, kneel down, get to the corner, pull them outside and say, "Hey, guess what? Today you're being amazing." Or take them outside and say, "Hey, today's a little bit rough. What's going on?" Because that gets a student farther than where the little rainbow sticker gets. They take the sticker off, they stick it on your school, and they don't even think about it. Talk to the individual. Make sure that you can build up their identity. Our students, I promise you this, will make a poor choice. And the best way to help them understand who they really are is by helping them own that behavior, have the conversation of what are you going to do next, and help them build their identity back up of you are still a great human being. You're still a great student. And you can do whatever you want in this world. So when they feel that identity, their agency shifts to, "Yes, I can." Because if we don't, we're going to see our students fade back. And when I start thinking about identity and agency, I'm thinking about the discipline component of this. And how many times our students are told they're wrong and bad. And how many times they don't have a chance to change that thinking. But at the same time, when we start to see this and saying, "This is who I am," because of how teachers talk to them, we go back into the classroom and we start to see things that tells the student they're wrong again. And we're finally being able to see some of this come to light in the news. But ladies and gentlemen, when we see this in the news now, and what has been written on some of our students' homework assignments, and the red marker that goes fast through our papers, this happens too often. And it goes back to the identity. If you get a paper back and it said, "Hey, I really enjoyed what you wrote here. We're missing a couple points. Why don't we fix this together?" Rather than saying, "This is wrong, this is bad," and red marks all over, which student is going to thrive next? We talk about the discipline component, but think about your feedback component on when you talk to kids. What do they feel? Do they feel good about who they are? Is their identity is, "I am strong, I am smart, I'm ready to learn tomorrow"? Are they leaving your classroom saying, "I'm never going to get this. I'm dumb. I should be in that class over there. I'm not welcome because all my peers around me got real big smiley faces and I got a big red frowny face"? Or I got red and black marker all over it. We have the power. We have the power to change individuals and how they feel about themselves. We have the power to make students go home and say, "I am proud of who I am. I'm excited of who I am. I make a difference in this world." And sometimes we don't take that power. And when I look at our students now, there's too many other components telling them that they're bad and they're wrong and they're not welcomed. Our students go onto social media and they're liking things because that's who they think they have to be, and they're building a false identity in those areas of social media, the adults in our campuses shouldn't be adding on to that. We should be ones that help shut down those false identities and say, you know what, that's not who you really are. Let's talk about who you really are, and let's build you back up. Because the best thing that we can do is have a group of students that are all different and proud to be that they're different and proud to say, I'm going to do something different, because that makes change. I want kids that have bad behavior to be able to say, you know what, that was a bad day, rather than I'm a bad person. I want students that fail the test to say, I failed that test. Not that I'm a failing in life, that I failed the test, I'm going to do it better next time. Because I don't want all the students to be the same. And sometimes what you're doing is you're putting kids in categories of, you're the good kid, you're the bad kid, you're the kid I just want away from me. And our students see it. Our students hear the tone you talk to them with. Our students see how you interact with them. There's a study back in the day, it's called the still face experiment, where a mom sits in front of her child, and the child is crying and screaming and pointing, and the mom gives her all the attention in the world. And that student, at that moment, that baby knows that this mom cares about me. And even at a very young age, like I say, all of a sudden, they start to feel good about who they are. In that same experiment, the mom shuts her face down, still face, doesn't move. The baby cries, screams, points, jumps all the way around. The mother never moves. The baby breaks down, cries, changes who they are to try to grab the attention of an adult. The mom eventually goes back, gives some love to the student. But when I see this, I look in our classrooms. Do we still face our students? Do we connect to the same student over and over again because they know the answer, because I feel that they're invested into the classroom? So I shift over here and don't look over here. So the identity of these students is, I'm not welcome in this classroom, I don't have the right answers, and my teacher doesn't believe in me. I encourage you, when you get into your classrooms, talk to every single student that you can. Connect with them. Look them in the eyes. Ask them for their input. Build a safe place that no matter the answer, I'm glad that you're participating with us. I want you here. I want you with me. And if you do something wrong or if you write something wrong, I'm going to tell you, hey, not today, not the best you, but tomorrow's going to be even better. Because I want to build up identity in every single case we can. Because there's going to be moments that change is going to happen. And we have to understand when things change and when kids misbehave and when kids don't thrive as best students they can be. If we just work with a little bit of love, a little bit of care, it's going to change who they think about themselves. I beg adults, please stop beating down our students. Please tell them they're amazing and that they can change the world, because I have beautiful children of my own. I have 3 little kids that are going to make an impact on this world. And when my kids make a mistake, I want to tell them it wasn't okay, but we can do better tomorrow, because I know this is going to happen. It's that if we work with our students, even when they make a poor choice, I want her in her life to be able to say, I am important, I am smart, and I am kind, no matter what she does. That's my goal for her. That's my goal for every individual I come encounter with. And you know what I understand too is some educators have never been told either that you are smart, that you are kind, and that you are important. So really quickly with me, I want you to say it after me just so you can hear it for one time in your life. I am smart. I am kind. And I am important. Because when we start doing it and we start embracing that into all our students, we're going to start hearing from an I am to we are. And when we build schools that say we are smart, we are kind, we are important, we're going to change this world. Thank you.